Hey guys, alright, so I am doing another Gotham Knights video, and this time I'm going to actually follow through on the same, I guess, format that I was doing with Batgirl. So, since you guys seem to enjoy the history of the character and felt like it was very informative, I am going to probably do the same thing as well for each of the other characters. In this case, this whole video is going to be a Mr. Freeze episode, and I'm probably going to just cover, like, all of the things that I do know about Mr. Freeze. So, Mr. Freeze was actually created by Bob Kane, David Wood, and Sheldon Moldoff. He was created, and his first appearance was in Batman 121, 1959 in February. Originally, the character was actually referred to as Mr. Zero. He was not called Mr. Freeze initially, he was just called Mr. Zero. It wasn't until 1966 in the Adam West Batman TV series where they started referring to him as Mr. Freeze. In his origin, which they haven't really changed much, honestly, it's just a little bit more in depth, I guess. Originally, they say that he is a rogue scientist that was working on a cryogenic formula, and it slipped and covered his whole body, changing him. As a result, he was only able to survive in sub-zero temperatures, and for that reason, he wound up crafting a suit that was able to keep his body under cold conditions that he needed to survive. It wasn't until Batman the Animated Series where you started to see more of a change in the character, which is why he got like this complete rehaul and more of a I guess the word is he was kind of rebooted, so to speak. So what they did was they in episode season 1 episode 14 titled Heart of Ice by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, nearly 30 years after the last television adaptation of Batman, revitalizing him once again, Batman the Animated Series retold Freeze's origin story. The episode introduced his terminally ill, cryogenically frozen wife, Nora, which explained his obsession with ice and his need to build an empire and raise money for her treatment. This is more complex, tragic character that was enthusiastically accepted by fans and accepted by it took the world by storm. So the whole thing was that after everything was said and done, most forms of media started to adapt the original version of Freeze based off of the success of the animated TV series. um As a matter of fact, if you really think about it, at one point Freeze was killed off, senselessly by the Joker in the comic books. It wasn't until he was brought back and his name was changed to Mr. Freeze, and they kind of followed through with his origin story and basically made him into the interesting character that has the history that you actually know of now. Um, There were actually quite a few characters. I mean, maybe I'll probably cover a lot of those characters, like Harley Quinn, when I start doing like the Harley Quinn mission and whatnot. Um, the thing is that a lot of characters that are known and beloved are straight from Batman the Animated Series, and a lot of their origins and a lot of their storylines were reworked from Batman the Animated Series. So that show revitalized a lot of characters and also changed a lot of things and made it way more mainstream and way more interesting in a lot of different ways. Um, as far as Batman's origin story, though, in the comics, it eventually changed to mirror that of Batman the Animated Series. And what they wound up doing was they actually hired Paul Dini, who wrote the Batman the Animated Series episode Cold Cold Heart, or I'm sorry, not Cold Cold Heart. It was Heart of Ice. Cold Cold Heart was a animated movie that came out after. But basically, they had him write the comic book, which was titled Batman Mr. Freeze. I mean, yeah, I get it. The title wasn't really the most original thing, but yeah, it was called Batman Mr. Freeze, and it explored deeper into the origin of Mr. Freeze, going a step beyond what Batman the Animated Series was actually doing. Mr. Freeze was an accomplished cryogenicist whose beloved wife was stricken with a fatal degenerative disease. Bleh. Try saying all of that 3 times fast. Freeze placed her in suspended animation while searching for a way to cure her, but GothCorp's CEO Ferris Boyle stopped funding the research for Nora's life and pulled the plug. During the process in which he tried to pull the plug, which, if you guys have played Arkham Origins Cold Cold Heart and had any experience with that, a lot of that came straight from Batman the Animated Series. So that origin story that is synonymous with Mr. Freeze came straight from Batman the Animated Series. Basically, after he winds up triggering the accident, it causes an explosion that makes Freeze's body into the cold-blooded form that we actually all know and love. And it leads to him having to be kept at sub-zero temperature, which is why he winds up crafting the suit in the first place, much like the comic book counterpart. Now, in the animated series, in a lot of ways, his issue isn't initially with Batman. His issue is actually with Ferris Boyle. So, in a lot of ways, he's kind of just like, well, get out of my way. I won't hurt you. My issue isn't really with you. My issue is actually with the guy that kept me from saving my wife. So, move the F out of my way and we won't have any problems. Batman obviously can't let can't let Ferris Boyle die, which honestly I kind of feel like he has it coming in most forms, but that doesn't sound very heroic of me, huh? So, trying to think what else. Mr. Freeze, basically, what other fun facts? So, in the comic book, though, they do cover the idea that he is obsessed with freezing, animals in order to preserve them so that they can continue to exist in the future. Basically, worried by his behavior, his parents turn around and send him to a strict boarding school where Victor is pretty much treated like an outcast. No pun intended for all of you people who know that I am doing Outcast comics. And basically becomes depressed. He eventually meets Nora, a young woman who he falls in love with and later marries. However, their happiness is very short-lived because Nora is then diagnosed with a fatal disease. Stricken with sorrow and very determined, he decides that he is going to try to save his wife by using his cryogenic technology. However, the experiment goes terribly wrong, much like most of the other origins. As you can see, most of the origins are kind of similar to one another. The major thing that came out of it was, I guess, the childhood obsession with freezing animals and stuff like that. But a majority of his criminal escapades typically feature the character as someone who is desperately just trying to rob banks and do all of these horrible things really just to save his wife. So it's not really him doing it for greed or for malice or for any other reason. I mean, unless you exclude Ferris Boyle, but it's really more for the dedication of trying to actually save Nora. In the Arkham series, which, I mean, you can't talk about Batman and not talk about the Arkham series, but in the Arkham series, Mr. Freeze is seen often being actually manipulated by criminals into attacking like, you know, characters like Batman and lashing out. So in the epic boss fight that you actually have in Arkham City, he
That can't be good.
pretty much makes the cure, and then after he makes the cure, he turns around and Batman is like, "The cure, give it to me," and Freeze is like, "The clown has my wife. Bring Nora back to me, and then you can have your cure."
Can't be far.
And Batman's like, "Yeah, that's not happening. Like, give me the cure first, and I'm not really, like, you know, this is not up for discussion at this point." And that leads to one of probably the greatest boss battles in, god damn it, he saw me, but that leads to like one of the greatest boss battles probably in the entire Arkham series. I love how as Victor, while you're fighting him, you kind of have to adapt, and the same way that you take him out can't be used a second time. You have to take him out radical, like, you know, in different ways every single time that you're playing, and I think that's probably like one of the coolest things that they've done, like, you know, as far as a boss fight goes. I'm trying to figure out how to get over there. Okay. No, that's not the right direction. Okay, and that door didn't open, so it must be, maybe it's in there. I have no idea. Alright. I'm clearly running in circles. Is there like a gate or a key thing that... Ah, that explosion. The explosion in the ceiling. I got it. Okay. Yeah. Alright. So, yeah, back to the Arkham series, but yeah, I love that whole boss fight, and I think that I wish that they would actually have included something like that in Gotham Knights. I don't know how it would have really fit into it, or how it would have worked, but I mean, yeah, I think that a lot of people actually have been, because I'm in, like, you know, certain Gotham Knights groups and stuff like that, but a lot of people actually seem to be having difficulty with this boss fight. And this is my second time playing this boss fight, so I guess because it was my second time playing this boss fight, I made sure that I decked out, like, you know, certain characters with fire-based weapons and fire-based attacks, so that this way it could kind of make it a little bit different. But I'm gonna wait till the cutscene is done so that we could continue.
I knew one of his protégés would come eventually.
Your protégés were stealing buckets of confidential data. I put a stop to that.
Whatever my associates are after is their business. I have what I came for.
Whatever you're after was not worth killing for. I promise.
My time is valuable. I will not waste any more of it talking to you!
Halon system compromised. Please vacate the area.
We're running out of air! Help us! Use the railgun!
I gotta love how that's conveniently placed right there to bust open the door, but it's cool. So, anyway, after in Arkham City, Batman basically agrees to find the Joker after what is like the greatest boss fight probably in a Batman video game ever. People are probably going to disagree with me, or some might even actually agree with that, but yeah. After that happens, Freeze actually stands down and he pleads with Batman to find his wife. Victor's love for his wife is so great that he will literally do any and everything to find a cure for her illness. He committed company espionage, robbery, murder, extortion, and even became a career criminal just so that he wouldn't lose her. And yes, I guess that's relationship goals right there. largely because of Victor feeling like he has absolutely nothing left to lose in his quest to save Nora. He was initially immune to Batman's terror-based approach at dealing with criminals, and explicitly even tells him that he's lost everything and that his threats have absolutely no effect on him. Freeze eventually took Batman's advice, and in the Arkham universe at least, in the Arkham universe, he basically takes Batman's advice and dedicates his life to finding the cure for his wife, and works on a ship leading into Arkham Knight. Actually, he's working on a ship named Nora. So pretty much he's been working like, you know, months on this cure, and is only a few days away from actually successfully curing her when Scarecrow pretty much winds up taking Nora Freeze, and like, you know, that leads to Freeze actually being interjected into the video game. But pretty much what winds up happening is that Freeze is approached, just like all of the other criminals, by Scarecrow and told, hey, I want you to fight on my behalf. I want you to be a part of this occupation of Gotham that I plan on doing. And Freeze was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I just want to help my wife. I don't care about anything else. And declining that offer leads to Scarecrow becoming bitter, and then eventually he winds up kidnapping Nora for that reason, as retaliation for that. So that's a large part of why he winds up getting rolled into the Arkham Knight story.
Just like that, it's over. Totally predicted that.
Sorry guys, I'm just trying to like survive this.
Don't bother getting up.
Not doing all too bad, all things considered, but still.
Yeah, let's go.
So, one of the cool things that actually I don't think it had ever happened, maybe I could be wrong, but the Arkham Knight was, I think, the first time where Nora actually wakes up and thaws out. And because she winds up thawing out, Victor pretty much, like, you know, begs Batman to freeze her again so that this way he could resume looking for a cure for her. Nora basically explains that she would rather live out the rest of her days with Victor than be frozen another decade, being unable to do anything but witness her husband basically spiral down into being a villain and his madness. Victor realizes that she is correct, and he agrees as the two vow to spend their remaining days together. The last time that you actually see Nora and Victor is while they're on the boat, and they're holding hands as the ship is basically, like, you know, leaving Gotham. So, Gotham Knights now. Gotham Knights is a little bit of its own continuity, but it's similar to what happens in, I guess, Arkham Knight, where this is where I guess it's kind of like a little bit different. But within the Gotham Knight storyline, Nora is cured, and she's also saved. But unlike the Arkham Knight, she winds up having a little bit of a bitterness towards the idea that Victor Freeze was capable of doing so many horrible things. And she honestly wants nothing to do with her previous relationship. After a fight breaks out between Batman and Victor Freeze, he assumes that Nora leaves him due to his condition rather than his actions, and Bruce basically agrees to help him find a cure, but
Don't worry.
deep down inside also knows that it's not going to actually help Victor get Nora back. Another cool thing that is interesting about Mr. Freeze is that a Mr. Freeze was featured in a comic book series known as Blackhawk 2 years earlier in 1957. I don't remember the exact number of that, but yeah, it was actually pretty interesting. And even still was radically different from the character that you got in the Batman comics
You're with Batman, right?
and had no affiliation aside from...
Thank God you came when you did.
Wouldn't have done without your call.
He took all of our cryogel. It's enough to drain the thermal energy from Gotham 3 times over.
Enough to freeze all of Gotham. We'll take care of Freeze. Just do me a favor and stay put until the police get here. Tell them what you told me.
I will. Again, thank you.
We need to find that cryogel and take down Freeze. He killed that scientist just to spite us. And then he got away.
He said it was Batman's fault. Bruce promised him a cure for his condition.
And in return, Freeze is supposed to behave. But I guess with Bruce gone, he's back in the game. What have you got, Tim?
Judging from the list of stolen items, I'd say he's looking to upgrade his exosuit. And that's just for starters.
He also downloaded local weather balloon data for the past 10 years.
Let's go back out there and stop Freeze before he kills anyone else. Yes!
Easy, Tiger. We'll get him. Maybe that's enough practice for today.
I've set the Bat computer to monitor the city for high concentrations of cryogel.
Meanwhile, we should keep tabs on anyone working for Freeze, which should be easy since he decks out all of his lackeys with cryo guns.
Okay, so I'm gonna just continue on all of the Mr. Freeze stuff, and this way it could just be like one pretty big video as opposed to it being broken up into parts. There's still gonna probably have to be another part after where you deal with, like, you know, the whole Mr. Freeze return, but I'll get to that part later. So in a lot of ways, this is kind of crazy because you have to go and you have to find 5 regulator crimes and stop them using the cryogenic weapons. So this is the final one. That's why you kind of saw like the cut in the middle. But basically in Gotham Knights, they have audio logs for Bruce that, that Bruce left behind for the Gotham Knights. Wow, can't speak. But those audio logs that you are, like the audio log that you're going to hear has to do with Mr. Freeze, and I think that it's very insightful as to him as a character and what's going on. So I'm just going to play that.
Log entry BT-55. I stopped by Victor Freeze's new cell at Blackgate earlier tonight. Victor's looking at 2 years for his latest escapade. But his cell is adapted to his condition, so in theory he can stay there for any sentence, regardless of length. I made a promise to Victor long ago that I'd try to help his wife, Nora. Recently, advancements in medical technology made that possible. As much as I was glad to help Nora herself, I had also hoped that helping her would encourage Victor to change his ways. But after her successful decriminalization and treatment at Gotham General, Nora wanted no part of their previous relationship. She recognized what I'd been reluctant to accept. Mr. Freeze has embraced his identity as a villain and is loath to give it up. At her request, I safely relocated Nora. Her instincts were right. His response was violence. I subdued him and brought him to the GCPD. Victor now insists that Nora rejected him due to his condition rather than his actions. He asked for my help in finding a cure. I agreed. I've looked at my work for Nora. I think I can do it. That will let him live more comfortably. But I told him it won't bring Nora back. Until Until Victor accepts that his problems are because of his violent behavior, he'll keep returning to the same criminal patterns. I only hope I can make him understand that.
Alright, and we're just gonna try and do this as quietly as possible. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
And down. There you go.
So with Nightwing, because I am using a character with, like, you know, fire-based attacks, I think that it's probably helping me with a lot of these freeze thugs. And we'll see if it helps during the boss battle. Because I know a lot of people, they're like, how do you get past freeze? So, I mean, like, if this does help anyone, hopefully it does. Because, like I said before, I think that I've already done it like twice with little to no problems. I had actually a harder time the first time around with Freeze when he has like the
Nice and easy.
cryo gun that's changing like the weather and stuff. I think the last time around I actually played as Robin, and I didn't play as Nightwing. But I also never have the fire damage in time to play as Mr. Freeze, so hopefully this time I have legendary fire gear versus the last time where I was playing and pretty much had nothing. Oh, that's a lot of them. Okay. I spaced. Me flapping my gums just led to me being discovered. Gotta love that fire damage. That and the concussive damage are probably like two of my favorite. I don't mind the electrical damage, but I definitely the one thing that I will say is like my least favorite is the cryo damage. That freeze damage doesn't feel like it really does much for me or help me in any way or any capacity. So let's see.
One of the scientists.
Am I supposed to go in the office?
Why was he reaching for the
How do I get
console?
through the door? Really don't remember. Huh. Ah, there we go. You kidding me? I gotta scan it before I press the button. Oh damn, I ran like right past him. The other thing is too is that some of these damage perks that you get, they also will still eat away at the health. Like the toxic will eat away at your health, and so will the fire damage. And I wonder if the electric will. I don't really know, but I do know that those two, they slowly, like, you know, eat away at your health. So if you hit somebody that you're trying to interrogate with it, and they're just slowly like having their health dwindle down, I would be very quick to interrogate them and grab them. Maybe not in that order. Okay, so that's the two. I'm trying to remember, because I think I remember it wasn't on this table. Maybe, yeah, okay, maybe it's one of these servers or something. There's definitely somebody watching this video probably and saying like, "You idiot! It's like somewhere else."
I wonder if Upshot had
Is it
anything
like
on
on
him
the
that might help
table?
explain
No, it
what's
can't
going on
possibly
here.
be out there, right? It has to be in here. Oh, the notepad. Okay.
So this guy hid a failsafe in his office. Clever. That failsafe has to be in here somewhere.
This seems very similar to Arkham City, where they have like the
A
disruptor.
false floor? Nice. Belfry, I found a device at Quartz Labs. It's connected to a machine Freeze wanted made. It'll disrupt, something. I'm bringing it in.
Good work. We'll wait for you back at the Belfry.
Identified by family and friends as Drs. Theodore Upshot and Kaylin Lee. The pair were recently honored by the Gotham City.
Did you find anything else about Mr. Freeze at Quartz Labs?
Dr. Cold-Shoulder?
Yeah, a whole bunch of
He
dead
had his goons
scientists.
take out some scientists who were apparently helping him build a machine at Quartz. It was gone when I got there, along with a bunch of other gear. But I did find a failsafe. The lead scientist called it a disruptor.
If we could track down what Freeze took from the lab, it would give us a better idea of what we're dealing with.
All units, shootout in progress at Elliott Center.
Multiple accidents. Too many. We can't respond to them all.
Is there something in the weather report about an ice age?
Be advised, extreme weather event in progress.
Temperatures have fallen 60 degrees in just minutes. An extreme cold front?
Weather doesn't do that. Not without some help.
Freeze.
Freeze can make weather now?
Freeze can make weather now.
The storm is localized around Elliott Center. We need to get there now.
So, funny thing is, I kind of remember, because I used to watch a lot of the demo work and the gameplay and stuff, it seemed like this was a lot further away than what it is now. It's like right down the block from, from like the Belfry.
Belfry, Elliott Center's iced up. Freeze's work, obviously, but there's something weird going on up top.
I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to do
I'm gonna
5
drop in for a visit.
ambush takedowns like that. That just seems kind of a little ridiculous. Like, how am I supposed to take down 5 of them with the same damn move? Oh, he spotted me.
ECPD can't handle this on their own.
Good thing you showed up when you did.
I'm wondering too if, like, after, do they summon like reinforcements? So that this way maybe I could actually somewhat get the achievement. Alright, yeah, see, like, that was never gonna happen.
Or we will open fire.
think this is so cool.
The storm is getting worse. I recommend you find a way inside Elliott Center quickly.
Thankfully, the GCPD already cleared the way.
Okay, so if you guys notice, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to take them out quietly, and I'm also trying to accumulate more of the, almost said intrinsic, that's Avengers, whatever the ability stuff is called, the ability bars. I'm trying to charge up and get the ability bars. Let me just simplify that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do that so that this way when we get to the boss fight, a lot of my attacks have fire damage anyway, so I can use the attacks to just, you know, take out Mr.Freeze pretty quick and easily. So for a lot of people who are also saying this, I never understood this. Certain people are saying that they're having a really difficult time beating Mr.Freeze, but yeah, you guys can just change the difficulty if you're really having that difficult of a time, instead of just like, you know. But even if you aren't going to do something like that, like for me, I kept it on normal difficulty the entire way, so that this way, even though it wasn't easy, it wasn't necessarily like the hardest difficulty in the game as well. I'm not really one of those types of try-hard people. Keep it on like a normal setting. It's pretty cool.
So no pressure then. Got it.
Yikes. Wonder what would have happened if I was standing right there.
Belfry, any idea what that was?
The weight of the ice may be making the building unstable.
Stupid weather machine.
You probably don't have much time.
Alright, let's try to get the freeze, because the building looks like it's really unstable.
I'm never gonna live this down. Tours were still happening when Freeze was here.
Alright, so it says here that I have to do silent takedowns. I'm gonna try and do all the silent takedowns. I'm gonna do like as many silent takedowns as I possibly can. Hopefully I can do this without getting detected. Yeah, go to sleep. Go to sleep. Damn, I should have scanned them. There's like 2 of you guys right there. Oh, thank God. Okay. Alright, cool. Cool, I got him just in time. Alright. This one, you can't see me. Yeah, that's right. Go to sleep. Acknowledge me. So it's just what I imagine Roman like tells his kids. It's like go to sleep and acknowledge me. You guys can't possibly be comfortable in this friggin' cold. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. I understand, like, Freeze needs it to be like this, but, like, you guys are helping him, and you realize that you're gonna die in this ice age thing that's going on right now too, right? Like, it's not just everybody else that doesn't have a winter coat. Which, by the way, you guys don't even look like you're dressed. But I mean, I guess, you know, could you imagine? And I really shouldn't be talking. I'm like walking around like literally in a long sleeve t-shirt.
Time for sleep.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna scan each and every one of them so that this way I can probably get away with doing silent takedowns on them.
Lights out. No need to fight. Bit of a drop.
You'd rather take the stairs?
This better lead to Freeze. Delver, any updates?
Countless dead, and the temperature's still falling.
No time to waste. Close now.
It's gotta be the weather machine. This disruptor better work.
Belfry, the disruptor's in place and charging.
Get away from my storm engine!
Come on, Freeze. You know how this works. You won't want to be here when this thing goes off.
Irrelevant! I already have what I need!
Alright, I'm about to whoop that ass. That's what I'm about to do.
Nothing can stop it!
I can. This ends here now.
The cold will take you!
Headshot. So as you can see, if it wasn't for that fire damage, I don't think that it would have actually cleared out as much of the health as it just did. But I should be really kind of recharging a lot of this. Damn, I always get hit by those. Always get hit by those.
Are you trying to die? That disruptor pulse will destroy your suit!
You dare go me!
I'm just warning you.
Gotham will freeze!
Can I jump over though? I don't think I can. I think I have to just run out of the way of them. See, those attacks are the ones that actually kind of make it very annoying for me, but yeah, that didn't feel like it did as much as the first attack.
Oh, I'm feeling it now.
Oh damn, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, well, maybe this will help, though. Because it helps regenerate my health, so that's cool, too. Except I'm not in it. He keeps hitting me out of it. See, like, the fire damage is, like, eating away at his health more than what I was using before. I think what I was using before was just, like, regular damage attacks, so I think that this is actually what's helping me.
There isn't much time until the pulse triggers.
Behold! Gotham without Batman! A disaster! A lost cause! Give your the gold!
Just looking up to see, because in like the second one you actually get like a spot where you can grapple and stuff, but I'm trying to make this look as like pretty as I can while being efficient. Yeah, I think I could just sprint away from them, maybe without getting hit, except for that time. I definitely got hit that time. Damn it. Okay.
Gotham must suffer!
Freeze, we can fix this. Whatever happened, this isn't worth it.
May I finish this?
See, with Red Hood, he shoots out the projectiles a lot quicker. So he would probably be... oh, damn, he just, like, really swatted me away. That would have been it had I not got hit. Unfortunately, I got hit, so that wasn't it for me.
I warned you, Freeze.
System overload. Cryogel cycling offline. Hard reset required.
A reset button. This feels like a bad idea. Okay.
System reset successful. Cryogel
So,
cycling
like,
online.
do you have a change of heart?
Freeze?
No? Okay,
Still with
well,
us?
that sucks.
You should have let me die. It would have been so much easier for you.
See, unlike a lot of the other incarnations of Mr. Freeze, he doesn't have his wife as a driving factor, leading to why he's kind of doing the horrible crap that he's doing in most of these games, so... yeah.
Victor always had the potential to bring disaster to Gotham. Until tonight, a kernel of humanity stopped him.
And now, it's up to me.
The evidence board has been updated.